Merry Maytall and welcome to this video. I am the Aussie Witch, Cerberus Bindweed. So in this video I'd like to talk a little bit about one of my favourite topics, aromatherapy. Now I've been a practitioner of aromatherapy for a number of years now, and I've amassed quite a large collection of aromatherapy texts by reputable authors such as Andrea Bouget, Shirley Price, Robert Tisserand. I've got a book by Jean Velnet. I've also got some amazing books by Valerie Ann Werewood, some other great books. For example, I've got Chrissy Wildwood, Patricia Davis, Neris Perchon, as well as other aromatherapists from around the world. So I have a love and a passion for aromatherapy. In this video, what we're going to discuss is about purchasing of essential oils and what to look for when it comes to buying your essential oils. Now, the reason why I am doing this video is fairly straightforward. Yesterday, I was talking to a bunch of work colleagues of mine who know I'm an aromatherapist, and they were asking me about some, aromatherapy remedies to help with colds, flus, and headaches, as that is the current season that we're in here in Australia. We are in winter. So they wanted me to, tell them some blends, and the topic came up of how do I know what brand to get with an essential oil. So this is my take on what I look for. Now, just to also let you know with this video, the image may go a little bit funny sometimes. My window is right in front of me, so the suns, with the clouds, etc., will obviously change the color tone of this video. But, let's just jump right into it. So, with essential oils, these are the things that I look for when it comes to buying them. Number one, the most important thing in my opinion, quality and the purity of the essential oil. So when I purchase an essential oil, I want to ensure that what I am getting and what I'm paying for is exactly what's on the label and exactly what it is that I'm seeking to get. So what I mean by this is, if I'm buying a bottle of Lavandula angustifolia, which is known as lavender essential oil, that says that it's Lavandula angustifolia from France, steam distilled, I'd expect every single drop of essential oil in there to have been steam distilled from a lavender plant, in particular Lavandula angustifolia, that species of lavender, from France. That's what I'd expect to be in there. If it says that it's certified organic Lavandula angustifolia, I require that it is a certified organic. I want to know the certification and who certified that particular essential oil. Different countries, different states have various regulations when it comes to what is certified organic. So you want to know that information. The reason why this is important is we as aromatherapists, and for the home use of aromatherapy, we typically use the essential oils topically through inhalation, and for those who are trained in this modality, the internal usage of essential oil, whether that be orally or the other end. Now, because of these essential oils are very absorbent into our skin, into our body, into our systems, we want to make sure that we don't have anything that's artificial in this or synthetic. We also want to make sure that we are getting what we're getting. So then, we can comply with various safety rules, safety regulations, etc. when using our essential oils. A good example of this would be how quite a lot of essential oils, unfortunately, are being cut with cheaper materials to save $1 here and there by the companies who sell them. So a good example of this would be lavender. If you buy lavender essential oil, Lavandula angustifolia from France, the main component found within that oil is linalool. Now, if a company has a batch of lavender angustifolia, but it was harvested at the wrong time of year and it was of a poor variety of lavender, the linalool content may not be where we'd expect it to be. percentage-wise. So we might expect the linalool content to be, I don't know, let's say it's 50%, but it's like 20%, let's say, in this blend. So what a lot of the companies do is they will incorporate linalool and add it in to their essential oil bottle to bulk up the percentage of linalool. Now there are two ways that they can do this. The first method is a natural linalool content, so they'll grab a cheap essential oil that has linalool in it. They will, in a laboratory, extract linalool as its main component from that natural plant, add that into the essential oil, thereby having a natural essential oil. Alternatively, with other type of chemical constituents, they would use synthetic. This is very common with limonene. Limonene is found naturally in your citrus oils, your lemon, your mandarin, your orange, lime, etc. And it's something that is well produced synthetically. You'll find it in your chemical cleaners, your Dawn dishwashing that's like lemon fresh, and all that. All of those ingredients typically have synthetic limonene. So they will then chuck in a synthetic limonene into it to get the correct percentages. Obviously, this makes that essential oil bottle not natural, but they call it natural. So it's really important to know the quality-wise what you are getting, making sure everything is pure and you're getting what you're paying for. Now, the next thing that I look for is certification. I like to get certified organic essential oils primarily. So the bulk of my essential oils that I use are certified organic. I myself do have some knowledge in the internal usage of essential oil. I don't practice that daily, but there has been times where I do need to take it internally for a specific issue for short periods of time. For example, if I have a throat infection, I might take xanthoxylum internally in a form of a lozenge. But that's a whole different kettlefish. But because I do that, I like to have my components such as my lemon oil, my peppermint, etc. as being certified organic. When it comes to certified organic, you want to make sure that it is certified by a particular government agency who actually certifies organic produce. You want to make sure that it's third-party tested, so it's not being tested by the company itself, usually. There are some companies out there, in particular one multi-level marketing company, who says that our products are therapeutic grade and they are tested. But the thing is, when you look at who actually did the testing for that therapeutic grade oil, it was the company itself that was selling and producing these oils, thereby being a conflict of interest. So you want to make sure that your products are being tested by legitimate sources. So, know your certification. If I cannot get a certified organic product, sometimes you cannot, whether because, certified organic is expensive. Number one, price-wise, you're paying through your nose to get a certified organic oil. For a company to have that certification, they have to pay through their nose by these legislations by the powers that be who do these testings to go into the places where create the plants, so where they harvest the plants, etc., to make sure that's organic, that the entire process up until bottling is hitting their organic requirements. So that's why some oils you cannot get organic. So I try to get the next thing, organically grown, which simply means that it is as organic as possible without getting certification. Otherwise, if I can't get that, some oils you can't, I try to go for wild harvested oils. And I'm just very careful of where I source my stuff from. Next thing that I look into is disclosure of information by my distributors and my essential oil companies that I buy my oils from. So on the label, does it have its common name? Lavender being an example. Does it have its scientific name? In the case of lavender, like I discussed before, Lavandula angustifolia. Why is that important? There are many different species of lavender out there. There are many different species of the same essential oil out there. Now, Each essential oil or each lavender essential oil is not equal. Certain ones have different safety considerations in it. And I'll talk about that a little bit later using thyme as an example. So it's really important to know what species of lavender is in that bottle. The other thing that is important for me is knowing the country of origin. I want to know where this essential oil, the plant that made it, came from. Reason being is, and I've actually found an essential oil company who did this, where they were selling Helichrysum essential oil. Helichrysum metallicum, a very expensive essential oil. And on that bottle had, I'm not going to say the company's name or give too much detail, but on that bottle it said that the company, that this essential oil was sourced from this particular country. The thing is though, there's no way that that essential oil could have been sourced from that particular country because the climate of that country does not meet the requirements needed for Helichrysum to grow. So Helichrysum is primarily from Croatia and Corsica, those two particular regions of the world. They have the best climate for it and the correct altitudes, etc. for quality Helichrysum. So that's why it's really important for me to know country of origin so then I can figure out myself if this is a legitimate oil or if it's synthetic or possibly hokey. The other thing that I look into is, and I'm just trying to readjust myself because it's really uncomfortable sitting on the floor like this. The other thing that I look for is GC data and chemotypes. So on my essential oil bottle, does it tell me what chemotype that oil is? And that also goes into the GC side of things I'll be discussing in a moment. But what is a chemotype? A chemotype simply means a chemical type. So all essential oils are based on chemistry. Every single essential oil breaks down into different chemical components at various percentages that makes that essential oil. Now, certain species of the same plant will make different chemotypes. So, Thymus vulgaris, your thyme essential oil. Thymus vulgaris being the species, and that particular plant can make different chemotypes of essential oil. So, depending on what country that plant is grown in, the altitude, the time of year that's harvested, etc., can determine what chemotype it has. So, you can get Thymus vulgaris chemotype linalool, Thymus vulgaris chemotype borneol, Thymus vulgaris chemotype thymol. Why is it important to know this? When you know what the chemotype is, it gives you an indication of the safety consideration and how to best use that essential oil. So, Thymus vulgaris chemotype linalool is a great immune tonic. You can apply it as a topical application to your skin, like in an oil or in a cream, etc., throughout the winter months, the cold and flu season, and you can use it fairly daily without any issues. Obviously, making sure you use it at correct dilution ratio. Thymus vulgaris chemotype thymol, on the other hand, you cannot do that, simply because thymol is such a potent chemical constituent that your body will not be able to handle ongoing usage of it. So with Thymus vulgaris chemotype thymol, you want to use it for infectious or bacterial-based conditions for short periods of time. For example, if I have a chest infection, I might use it in a blend or a salve, apply it to my chest for like a week to get over that chest infection, and then I won't be using it. So it's really important to know your chemotype. The chemotype is the main chemical constituent found within that essential oil. So in the cases of Thymus vulgaris, if it's chemotype thymol, it means that the majority of the constituent will be thymol or very high in thymol compared to linalool. Chemotype linalool means there'll be more linalool than thymol, etc., etc. So it's really important to know that. Now, another way of knowing the chemotype of your essential oil, and the other factor that I look for with essential oils, is GC data. GC stands for gas chromatography, and it's usually hyphenated with MS, which is mass spectrometry. These are two laboratory techniques used to test your essential oils in the aromatherapy world. So they stand for gas chromatography and mass spectrometry. Hence why we say GC, because it's just a mouthful to say. But what it is it breaks down the chemical constituents found within the essential oil into its individual components and at what percentages those components are. For example, and I'll go into the example in a moment, like your thiamol, like if thiamol is, let's say, 20%, if you've got linalool at 40%, limonene at 80%, whatever. Why is this important? Number one, safety consideration, as I've mentioned. Certain essential oil components are skin irritants or can cause concerns, and they can only be used at certain percentages topically or internally, etc. So it's really important to know at what percent that particular chemical constituent is in your oil. Now, I use a program called Lab Aroma, which is by an amazing aromatherapist, Colleen Hart, or also known as Colleen Quinn, depending on the online blogs, etc. You can look at Lab Aroma on YouTube for some examples. But what I use that is, it's a collection of GC data where if I was to make a blend and I have one product that has cinnamaldehyde, another product that has cinnamaldehyde, another one that has cinnamaldehyde, the program will calculate, based on my blend, how much altogether my blend has in that constituent, and it will then tell me what percent it's in based on GC data. So if, for example, I am wanting to make a topical blend, but I cannot exceed, let's say, 0.3% of cinnamaldehyde in any topical stay-on blend, that program, based on GC data, will tell me if I've exceeded it or not. So it's really important for safety to know your percentages of your chemical constituents, especially true if you are serious about aromatherapy. Now, this goes into my next particular topic, and I'm going to just adjust myself here because I'm a bit uncomfortable. Let me lift that up. Oh, sorry about that. My legs have just gone numb from sitting on the floor there. And let's do that. Perfect. Now, I've been asked what brands of essential oil I recommended, and I tell my workmates that I personally do not use Australian essential oil companies' oils, and there's a reason for it. I've got an issue with information. I believe that if you are going to sell a product, you should know the information about said product. That if I was to call that company's reps, they should be able to answer my general inquiry questions that they should know. Really, really basic questions. I called a couple of essential oil companies in this country. More than a couple, actually. I called most of the main ones that you'll find out in your drugstores, your chemists, health food stores, etc. And I asked them basic essential oil questions. In the cases of Thyme essential oil, for those companies who sold it, I asked them what chemotype it was, because their labels nor their website stated what chemotype their Thyme is. I've been told that they don't know what chemotype it is, or they told me what's a chemotype. If I'm calling a company asking them what chemotype their oil is, they should be able to answer it for me. The fact that they cannot answer that gives me cause for concern, because that should be something that's easily on your data when you're selling an essential oil. It's kind of important to know that. The other thing with certain essential oils is they don't tell you what date the oil was distilled on, and that is really important for me, just to know for my shelf life. Some essential oils have 6-month shelf lives, others a year, others can go beyond that, and that's based on the date that the essential oil was distilled. Not when it was a package, but when it was distilled. So I want to know when the essential oil was made. Some of these companies won't tell us. Now, that I can understand to a certain degree. So some companies, will have that knowledge, some don't. So that isn't the main reason why I don't buy Australian essential oils. The next reason is GC data. I have called virtually every single Australian essential oil company that doesn't sell to practitioners. I've asked them if they can supply me their GC data of their essential oils. Virtually every single company, except for 2, told me that they cannot supply GC data because it is a trade secret. That's a load of baloney. The reason why I'm saying that is GC data is just the chemical breakdown and percentages of the essential oils. Now, if you're selling a pure essential oil and you're claiming to sell 100% pure essential oil, there should not be any trade secrets. Because in the cases of cardamom essential oil, I would expect in cardamom essential oil to be terpenyl acetate at around about 40%. I'd expect there to be 1,8-cineol, roughly 30% in there. I would expect there to be octanol, a very small percent. Geraniol would be in there as well. Decanol, methylcinnamate would be in there, among other chemical components of various percentages. So I would expect those components to be in there within certain percentage ranges. So that is not a trade secret. It's a trade secret if you tell me a blend. So if you make yourself a formula of, I don't know, let's say it's Breathe Easy, and you've got a bunch of essential oils in there to help breathe, and you just tell us, oh, this essential oil contains eucalyptus, peppermint, I don't know, lemon, and let's chuck in Saro in there, or Ravensara. Okay, cool, you've told us that. You don't want to tell us what percentage it is in because it's a unique formula for you. That is fair enough. But an individual bottle of essential oil, you should be able to provide the data for. Now, I'm going to show you what data looks like, what GC data looks like. Now, 2 companies that I spoke to, one of them is Ahimsa oils. Now, with Ahimsa, they are very good quality oils in Australia. They are a small company, so they don't get like big stock of essential oil, and it is expensive for them to get bulk orders, and usually with some essential oil distributors, they don't provide GC data unless you do like bulk orders of essential oil. But at least they stated that, and they admitted that's why they can't supply, in some cases, a full GC data, and that's fair enough, and I highly respect them. When it comes to Australian oils, if I was to go to a company to buy my essential oils from, Ahimsa would be it. And I do buy from them when I have run out of an essential oil and I need one now. The other company that stated that could supply me with a GC data is New Directions. Now, New Directions, they're a bit of a hit and miss with their GC data. And that's one of the other reasons why I don't get their oils, as some of the people that I've spoken to from them via email have supplied me their GC data. Other people have not supplied me their GC data. Instead, they sent me safety data sheets, which is a completely different thing. I'm just going to show you an example of New Directions GC data that I have here, and this is for Eleutheria cardamomum, which is your cardamom essential oil. This is from India, and it was distilled in, let me have a look here. It doesn't actually tell me when it was distilled in, but it does state here that the expiry date is the 20th of is 2021, March 2021. So here it is, their version of a GC data. Now it's got here the company's address, contact number, fax, email, that's fine. Product identification, It's got the product name, so cardamom essential oil, its botanical name, so Eleuteria cardamomum, the product code, the batch number, which is also important to know on your essential oils. They've got to be tested by batches. The expiry date, which is cool, country of origin, yeah, and then it goes into physical and chemical properties. So the test, for example, appearance, odor, specific gravity, refractive index, and optical rotation. That's not really important for this video. But then the GC, it's only got 2 components listed here. Eucalyptol at 45.32% for this particular batch, and terpenyl acetate, which is at 36.03. At the very bottom here, you've only got 2 components. Here is a cardamom essential oil and a GC data from a company that I actually buy my essential oils from primarily, and that is Aromatics International. This is also Eleuteria cardamomum. It's also from India. It's got the date of distillation on the actual form other than the expiry date, in this case February 2018. And it has here 1 page worth of the GC data. And as you can see, there's a lot more information concerning the GC compared to the bottom here, which is just these 2 rows. So in here it goes, and it breaks it down under chemical families as well, which is a nice touch. For example, your aldehyde family, it's got geraniol 0.15%, octanol 0.05%, decanol 0.2%. It goes in there. Your 1,8-cineol, which is also known as eucalyptol, is 30.18%. So though the New Directions one is higher in 1,8-cineol, that is fine. That is roughly where I'd expect it to be, depending on the country of origin and the time of year it was harvested. I'm not sure when this one was harvested. Doesn't tell me. So every year your percentages can vary a bit. But then it's got here terpenyl acetate, and if I look at this one here, my terpenyl acetate is at 44.77%, so that's a bit higher than New Directions one, which is fine. But the thing that I like about this company, Aromatics International, it goes through every single component within that oil, even if it's very small amounts. For example, I've got one here, which is, let me try and find it. Yep, the decanol is only at 0.02%, but they've mentioned it here. Whereas with New Direction, they only really do the major components, or the ones that they classify as having a significant amount of a component. Though that is okay, for me as an aromatherapist, I need to know all the components. Reason being is it only takes sometimes a small percentage, even under 1% of a particular component, to cause a negative reaction to the body. Cinnamaldehyde being an amazing example of that. So you truly want to know what that is. Though you might only have 0.4%, let's say, or 0.1% of one component, if you are making a blend and that blend has that component in those other oils, those percentages add up in a synergistic way, and it may exceed the safety data that the safety legislations needed to use it topically. So that is really important to know. So it's really important to know your minor components, including your major components. So that's why I don't buy Australian essential oils, simply because I don't get my GC data from them, and they tell me stuff like trade secret, which gives me pause for concern. So the oils that I buy from, or the companies that I get my oils from, are Aromatics International. They're a American-based company. I get my oils also from Florahana, which is a French-based company. I also get one from NHR Organics, which are also a very good company. So those are the 3 primary companies that I get my essential oils from. You can also get essential oils from Tisserand Essential Oils, which is Robert Tisserand's brand, and Shirley Price Oils, which are also very good quality oils. So those would be, I'd say, maybe my 5 top companies that I would get my essential oils from. Now, just to finish off this video, it's been 30 minutes now, I just want to quickly talk about 4 books that I recommend, actually 5 books that I recommend for a aromatherapy person. If you are new to the world of aromatherapy, you just want to make blends to help you at home for minor ailments, etc. So you're just a home user of aromatherapy, this is one of the books that I recommend. It is Essential Living, Aromatherapy Recipes for Health and Home. This is the 2nd edition, and it's by Andrea Bouget. Now, Andrea Bouget is the founder of Aromahead Institute, which is an online school. It's a really good school. I'm actually studying there at the moment. So I highly recommend this book. It's very simple information here. Really simple recipes. For example, here I've got a cold and flu therapeutic bath salt blend. It goes into quite a few different areas and subjects like emotional well-being, oil blends for travel, cleaning, oils for the office, etc. It's a really good book, and even if you are not a beginner in aromatherapy, I mean, I certainly am not, but it's got some thought-provoking recipe ideas in here where she might incorporate an essential oil that you wouldn't think is good for sleep, but when she explains why she added that oil in there, you think, oh, yeah, I understand why that would be good for that. Now, this is her 2nd book, and also another book that I recommend, The Heart of Aromatherapy. Now, I love this book, even though it is fairly beginner material, but the reason why I love it is the format of it is beautiful. It's not a lot of imagery, but what I do love about it is that it goes through safety, it goes through the Aromahead approach, but it also has some amazing recipes at the back of the book, fairly easy, simple recipes. But the thing that I love is the profiles of the essential oils. So, for example, if I go into, let me try and find one of my favorite ones. It is here. Okay, let's go into, let me try and find it. Okay, Sweet Orange. So what she does here, and one of the things that I love, is she makes personality profiles of an essential oil to help a person to better understand how you could use that essential oil. So, for example, this one here for Sweet Orange has Visit Sweet Orange's Orchard Retreat. I'll just quickly read it out to you. Sweet Orange is the friend you've known for years, who never lets you down. Familiar, warm, and always there when you need a bit of comfort. Visit Sweet Orange at its home in a warm, sunny orchard. You're always welcome and no worries are allowed there. Sweet Orange will help you to let go of anxiety, stress, and frustration. Sweet Orange is, I'm going off the book now. Sweet Orange is a mood awakener. It helps to lighten the mood. It helps to release stress and tension by picking up and making you feel happy. So it's a really good stimulating essential oil for that. Hence why it's good for anxiety, stress, and frustration, which I think she words very well. Let's continue on with what she's written here. It will massage the tension of your muscles, gives you space to breathe, and remind you of the beauty in your life until you're feeling healthy, revitalized, and optimistic. No one goes hungry in Sweet Orange's house. Its home is full of good, nourishing foods that can restore your health. And of course, they're easy to digest, which kind of links Sweet Orange to its properties to help with digestive complaints. After a delicious meal, Sweet Orange will clean everything up itself. It makes its own natural cleaning blends and then pour you a warm bath. You'll have no trouble drifting off to sleep after that. Relaxation comes easily in Sweet Orange's warm glow. In fact, spending time with Sweet Orange makes everything feel like it's flowing more easily, filling thoughts goals and health. So that little story really does sum up Sweet Orange. Now, if you are wanting to go a little bit more in depth, but still, not wanting to go into the more scientific side of aromatherapy, this huge book is one that I recommend, and I still recommend. The Complete Book of Essential Oils and Aromatherapy by Valerie Ann Werwood. This is virtually the Bible of blends. You've got literally everything in this book. It's so many blends. It can for different conditions. It's hard to keep track. So here, for example, I've got infection. A good blend for infection would be something like lavender, fragonia, and chamomile German. She goes into how to use it. There's safety in here. How to use hydrolates in skin treatments, for example, for skin conditions. How to use it for mood, in appetizers. For example, if you want to cook with essential oils, scenting rooms, etc., etc. So that really worth it. If you're looking to get into the more scientific, or you're wanting to learn clinical aromatherapy, and I've got to pull a book out from here as well. And let me pull that one out. That one. Quite a lot of books that I have. It's really hard for me to limit my book intake. But first book, definitely this one. The Complete Guide to Aromatherapy. This is volume 1, Foundations of Materia Medica. And this one here is the 3rd edition by Salvatore Battaglia. It is an amazing book, a lot of information. It's got to do with, it talks about chemotypes, GC data, the chemistry of the essential oil. It's got an amazing profile of essential oils, about adulteration when your essential oils are adulterated, or they're cut with synthetics or with other natural components. So it will tell you like which essential oils are more likely to be adulterated and with what. For example, here caraway seed, carum carvi. It says here under adulteration. Adulteration of caraway seed oils occurs with the addition of synthetic D-carbonate and D-limonene. Actava states that adulteration can take place with caraway chaff oil, which is distilled from waste materials from the threshing of caraway seeds. He explains that this oil contains more terpenes and less carvone. So that's a good indication of if your oil's been cut or not. So that's a really good book. Anything by Shirley Price, I'd recommend. So this one here is the Complete Understanding and Using of Essential Oils. It's her aromatherapy workbook. I love this book. I still use it and I still reference it. Next book is this one here, which is The Chemistry of Aromatherapeutic Essential Oils by E. Joy Bowles. This book here is to do with the chemistry of essential oil and its various components. And following that, no aromatherapist worth their salt would not have this book on their shelf. Essential Oil Safety by Robert Tisserand and Rodney Young. This is the 2nd edition hardcover book. This is the Bible for your essential oil safety. If you read in it, it will go into a variety of different things. It goes into your essential oils, how it affects specific organs, at what percentages it's recommended to be used. And it also gives you a little bit of the key constituents within that essential oil, like a little overview of what percentages of that constituent you'd expect to find in one oil. In the cases of, let's say, peppermint essential oil that I have here, he'll tell you peppermint essential oil, the menthol content in there should be anywhere between 19 to 54.2%. So that will be what you look for in your GC to see if you're getting a good quality peppermint oil. So that really is it for this video. It's 40 minutes now. I hope that you guys learnt something new about this video. If you have any questions on aromatherapy, or anything that I've said in this video, or you want to know more information about aromatherapy, you have a topic you want to discuss, you want me to show you something on this channel, please do comment below or send me a private message and I'll respond as soon as I can. Blessed be.